compared to the previous Far Cry editions, there was 4 of them before this, or maybe 5 if you can count Blood Dragon. But the other 4 were kind of similar in the sense that there was a villain, and you were in a country, and you had guns, and you had to craft, and all that kind of stuff. This one is different because it goes way back in time to the sort of what era would we call this?
10,000 BC.
There you go.
So
how
the official time stamp on that?
How different is that when you put this game in compared to the previous one?
I mean, like, when they first announced it, and I kind of talked to Christine about it, like, during the show and then, like, behind closed doors as well, but I was very concerned because Far Cry to me was always, you know, you have this big open world, and you have vehicles, and you have guns, and you just cause chaos. And that's always been kind of like the appeal.
My bad.
And then that's anchored by, like, really, really good villains.
Right.
Yeah.
But they've kind of taken like a totally different approach to this. Like, as we talked about, they've taken it back to 10,000 BC, so there's no guns, there's no vehicles, and they've opted to kind of work with language experts to kind of create a language that sounds more authentic to what would have been present during that time.
Right.
Cool.
So it's not spot on, it's still made up language.
Yeah.
But I mean, they tried their darndest.
And, they guessed.
Did they put that in the box?
Good for them.
I hope they put that in the box. They tried their darndest. RileyLittleGameRant.com.
Yeah, GameRant.com. You know they tried, guys.
They tried. They tried.
Yeah, but I played this. I went to the studio in Toronto and I tried out the game, and I was not sold on it at all initially. I was like, you know what, this is because I feel like everyone wanted dinosaurs, right?
Yeah.
You really wanted
That's
dinosaurs.
fair.
I did.
I really wanted dinosaurs.
Yeah.
But so instead I got woolly mammoths, which are okay. But
That's kind of
the main appeal of this now is that you're Takar, you're the Beastmaster, and you're able to tame wild animals. And to Ubisoft's credit, they actually made it work pretty freaking well. Like,
Good.
because my concerns were there was no structure to it. Like, there was no goals when I first played the alpha or whatever it was. And then I started playing Primal, like the finished product, and all of a sudden I had missions, and I started meeting characters, and I was like, you know what, like, this is actually, like, really immersive. And the environment, like Oros, the land that it takes place in, is just absolutely gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that's probably from the jump, because, like, Far Cry 4 was limited to Xbox 360 and PS3 as well, but they've left those platforms behind now, and they're focused on the current-gen hardware, and it really, really shows. And the weapons, too, man. Like, they work pretty friggin' well, and it's violent. Like,
Really?
It's the most violent Far Cry I've ever played.
Really?
Really?
Is it because it's all hand-to-hand?
Yeah, I think that's exactly it. Like, you will lodge a spear in someone. Like, and if you hit someone with a spear, you know, they're probably boned. So, like, you do that. If you nail a dude in the head and he's close to a wall, it just goes right through his head and sticks him into the wall. Oh yeah, like, it's violent. It's a violent game. And meanwhile, like, you'll be walking around, there's a cannibal tribe that they're an enemy faction called the Udam.
Yeah.
And you'll find them, and they're cannibals, so they're eating, like, corpses and stuff, and there's, like, headless bodies and, like, people cut in half and stuff like that. Like, it's violent.
Does this say something about me that I'm immediately sold when you say you can throw a spear at someone and their head gets lodged to a wall with the spear, and I get excited and I want to play that? Is that?
I'm not
worried.
a psychiatrist.
I feel like I should be lying down for this conversation.
I think we need to commit Patrick.
I know,
what we need to do.
but, like, that sounds awesome.
But to be honest, that does sound awesome.
It does, yeah.
That does sound
I'm
awesome.
sold. Okay.
I mean, I guess you have to make the combat satisfying.
I guess, yeah.
I feel like if you didn't do that, like, the weapons would just feel hollow. Like, if you just hit a guy and they just went down and there's no blood and it wasn't violent, like, you wouldn't get that wow factor. And they killed it with this.
Literally.
They absolutely got it. Like, you light people on fire and stuff.
Oh, jeez.
Oh yeah, like, it's they don't hold back. Oh, also they have bee bombs. So
yeah, I saw that.
Bee bombs and just whip it at people.
Like, is a bee bomb a bomb
with
that
bees?
has bees in it?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. And you just throw it at the ground, and the bees, like, the hornets come out, and they just start stinging the guys, and it totally distracts them. You can even kill them with it. It's pretty crazy.
I'll be honest with you. There are a few things in this world I could think of that'll be more terrifying than a bomb made of bees being thrown at me.
Riley running at you with a bee bomb, and tossing it at you.
That sounds horrifying. A bee bomb. In terms of, like, storyline, is there a storyline to this game that gets you gripped, or does it not really matter?
Yeah, I mean, like in past Far Cry's, the past two in particular, the core ones, it's like a revenge story.
Mm-hmm.
Like someone near and dear to you has been killed. In Far Cry 3, like your brother gets killed, and in Far Cry 4, your dad dies.
Mm-hmm.
So you go to this land, but you're not there to avenge someone. Like in the beginning, like right off the bat, you're introduced to this guy, and he seems to be like really close with your character, and he dies, and you're just like, whatever. Like, 10,000 BC. It's 10,000 BC. Like, I don't have time to mourn. Like, he buries him, and then he's like, I got to keep surviving.
I
and
need
that's
to eat.
what it is. Like,
Yeah.
your tribe, the Wenja, have been scattered because two invasive tribes have come in, and they've kind of broken them up.
Right.
The Azilla and the Udam. And if you stop to, like, worry about other people around you, like, you're probably not going to live too long. So, I mean, they have that mentality that I guess, like, the hunter-gatherers would have had to back then, which makes sense. So they introduce interesting characters, and the Wenja are trying to fight back against these other tribes, and it works pretty well.
What about crafting?
Crafting's cool. I mean, the environment, like going back to Oros, the environment is just crawling with animals and resources that you have to harvest. And the beauty of that is that, like, you run around, you just keep gathering, and as you progress through the story, you'll, like, earn Wenja people who join your tribe, and you can gain more abilities. And then you can go back to your tribe, and there's, like, a base building element to it, where you can start, like, giving them upgraded homes and stuff like that, which further your stats and everything as well.
Nice.
I mean, like, it's not an overly engaging feature in the sense that it's not like Fallout where you get to, like, completely build your own, like, civilization.
Mm-hmm.
But it works well because it's more of a means to an end. If you don't do that, then you're probably not going to live too long, like, later in the game.
Well, one of the things that you and I have talked about is you really obviously wanted the dinosaur mostly for the flight factor, because this map is assumingly huge.
Oh, yeah.
How do you traverse around it? Is there a fast travel way, or do you just have to go?
They do. Okay, so if you, like, there's different bases. Like, if you played a Far Cry, you know how, like, there's, like, enemy bases, like, around the area. And if you capture that, you can fast travel between them.
Mm-hmm.
So they have that element as well. You're able to fast travel. But as I learned, you can totally ride, like, a saber-toothed tiger and a woolly mammoth. And that is just
Sold.
blast.
So they're really fast? They, like, get you zooming around?
Oh, yeah. Like, you can hop on the back of a cave bear, too.
A cave bear?
Yeah, you can ride a cave bear.
That's pretty
If
awesome.
you like Mowgli in the Jungle Book.
Oh, man.
Except way more violent.
Baloo.
Way more violent.
Yeah.
Rated R Jungle Book.
So, I mean, the animals are a big part of this game. In past Far Cry games, there have been frightening encounters with sharks and tigers and elephants that have helped you out. What about in this game? You mentioned you could ride some of them, or do you have terrifying encounters with some of these animals?
Yeah, I think the scariest animals are the ones you can't tame. Like, if you progress far enough, like, you just whip raw meat at these things' feet, and it's kind of like an underwhelming feature to tame them, because you just huck meat at them, and then you walk up and hold X, and it's yours.
If
So,
life
like,
was that easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, right? I'd probably have a girlfriend by now.
I was going to say, I think I got my last boyfriend.
This just got a little depressing.
It's an underwhelming feature. I mean, to their credit, they've tried to make it a little more challenging because they have, like, rare variants of some of the animals, which makes it a little more interesting because they're, like, super hard to find.
Right.
But other than that, like, there's only, like, a handful of animals to tame to begin with. But outside of that, the animals that you're going to be most concerned with are giant, like, elk. They are massive, and they take so much damage. Woolly rhinos and woolly mammoths.
Woolly rhinos?
Oh, yeah, and you can light those bad boys on fire, and they go up pretty well.
And does, like, everything else go up around it as well? Or
Yeah. Like, if you like, whip, like, a fire arrow, or if you, like, light a spear or something and huck it at a woolly rhino, that thing will go up in flames, and it will take off because, like, you know, it's lit on fire.
Yeah, obviously.
and as it runs, it will spread fire in the grass that it touches.
That's chaos.
And then that just goes up. So you can create forest fires and stuff like that, and the wildlife will react to it in different ways.
Interesting.
Can you ever accidentally take down your own settlement?
No. I mean, Ubisoft is smart because they don't let you pull out weapons or even have your beast in the settlement.
Oh, good.
And then once you leave that area, you can.
That's hilarious. Yeah, we can't trust gamers with their own settlement, so let's not let them take out their weapons in here and B-bombs because
they're idiots. So we're not going to let them do things.
Have you met the internet? Yeah, that's bad.
I would have done that, to be honest with you.
That's too funny.
Yeah.
course.
I'm one of those gamers that always tries to shoot like my people in the back.
Yeah.
My own teammates.
So you're a gamer.
Yeah.
Patrick, I think that's a warning for you and I.
I know,
in the
yeah.
future.
I'm really worried. Hey, I want to see if the
Can't wait
spear
till we play
actually...
the Division together.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a good time.
Oh, that's going to be great.
Oh no.
So one of the parts of Far Cry that I always stand out for me is the crazy parts where you have some kind of drug trip.
Christine, you are going to be stoked because there are totally drug trips.
Yay!
So you meet a shaman, and I'm spacing on his name right now, but he gives you these weird concoctions, and then you just go on the craziest drug trips.
Amazing.
That's awesome.
Like one, I don't want to give too much away, but like one like leads you to your beast powers, and you're like flying through the sky.
Ooh.
And then another one, you blow up the moon.
I'm sorry, what?
You blow up the moon. You shoot arrows at the moon, and you make it explode.
That's pretty awesome.
I don't even know
What
what to
is
say
this
to that.
game?
I don't even know what to say to that.
That's pretty awesome.
They're
Explosive
pretty good
arrows.
Drug trips. I mean, I guess.
That's great. One of my concerns with Primal was weapon choice. I mean, all the other Far Cry games, you had like a whole bunch of different guns to choose from, and then melee weapons and stuff. And then when they announced Primal, I was like, well, okay, you'll have a dagger and you'll have a bow, and I guess B-bombs. But was there enough variety in terms of like crafting weapons and stuff to actually keep you entertained using different weapons in the game, or?
Yeah, like I was super concerned about that initially as well.
Mm-hmm.
They were able to make it because like every weapon you use feels so satisfying because it's so violent.
Yeah.
But I guess you could maybe get bored. Like I didn't find myself becoming too bored because I knew like you can craft a limited supply of these items.
Right.
And once it breaks or something like that, like you got to craft more or else you're not going to make it. You're probably not going to do okay.
You better hope you're riding a saber-toothed tiger, or else.
That's exactly it,
okay.
right? And
Yeah.
that, oh man, if you're on the back of that thing and you like go up to a guy and maul him, it's pretty bad. Like he just grabs him by the throat and shakes.
Oh. I want this game. I want this game. Like, it sounds awesome.
Patrick is sold.
I was sold at the spearhead against the wall thing. That was like you had me at hello pretty much at that point.
Like the opening segment. He was like, I'm in.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
All right. So the question is then, Riley, overall, is this a game worth getting? What would you give the score?
Far Cry is a series that gets a new core installment roughly every 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
It's only been like maybe a year and a half since 4, which is weird
Right.
to think about.
Right.
But it does so much different, and it feels so fresh that I've got to say, like, it's worth experiencing. Like, if you like the Far Cry formula, it's still very much intact. They have the bases to capture. They have pyres that you can light, and that they act as like the radio towers from
Right.
the old games.
Okay.
It feels very similar, but at the same time, it's different enough to make it worth checking out. So I gave it for GameRant, I gave it a 4 out of 5, which I guess translates to an 8 out of 10 for you guys.
That's great.
Nice.
8 out of 10. All right. 8 out of 10 for Far Cry Primal.